Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're digging into a method of communication that's so powerful it can literally change your relationships, not just with other people, but, and this is the big one, with yourself. You know, this single idea from a poem that really sparked something in NBC's founder, Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, gets right to the core of what we're talking about today. With every single word we choose, we're either opening a window or building a wall. We've all been there, right? You're having what seems like a simple conversation, and then suddenly it just spirals into this painful argument. Everyone walks away feeling hurt, totally misunderstood, and just disconnected. So what if there's a better way? Well, there is. Today we're exploring something called Nonviolent Communication, or NVC for short. It's a framework that was designed by psychologist Marshall Rosenberg to help us turn all those conversational walls back into windows. Now, don't let the name nonviolence throw you. This isn't about being passive or a pushover. NVC is actually a really dynamic, honest, and super clear way to get to the absolute heart of what matters in any chat, so that everyone involved actually wants to contribute to each other's well-being. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the common ways we talk that actually create conflict. Then, we'll get into the four-step process for building connection. We'll see how it works in real life, and then we'll turn it all inward and see how to apply it to our own inner world. Okay, first things first, we've got to understand the problem we're trying to solve. Rosenberg identified these specific patterns in how we talk that he called life-alienating communication. Basically, these are the habits that get in the way of our natural ability to feel and show compassion. And here they are, the usual suspects. You've got moralistic judgments, telling someone they're wrong or bad, making comparisons, which just breeds misery for everyone, denial of responsibility, saying I had to instead of I chose to, and demands, which even when they're polite, just make people want to resist. These are the bricks we use to build those walls. And this just nails the problem perfectly. We might think we're just expressing how we feel, but what the other person hears is an attack. They hear, you're a bad partner, or you're a bad person. And it's this huge gap between what we mean and how our words land that just shatters any chance of real connection. So what's the alternative? How do we fix this? Well, it's this really elegant four-step process that is the absolute core of NBC. Think of this as your roadmap to speaking your truth without blaming anyone and hearing what others are really saying with empathy. Observation, feeling, need, and request. You can even remember it as OFNR. This simple little sequence shifts our focus to what's really going on inside of us and inside of them. It just opens up a space for actual understanding and this genuine desire to make life better for each other. All right, this first step, it's probably the most critical distinction to make. An observation is just what a camera would record. No spin, no judgment, no analysis. So instead of saying, you're always late, a pure observation is, I see you arrived at 10:20 and our meeting was scheduled for 10. See the difference? We're starting on neutral, factual ground. Okay, next up, we name our feelings. And this means actually learning the language of our emotions. It's so tempting to say, I feel like you, but that's a thought. That's a story we're telling ourselves about them. A real feeling is about us. It's, I feel hurt, or I feel anxious, or I feel lonely. Now, this next part is a game changer. NVC suggests that our feelings are not caused by what other people do. They're caused by our needs. Someone else's action is just the trigger. The real cause of our feeling is whether one of our own universal needs, like the need for respect or understanding or connection, is being met or not. And finally, we make a request. And it has to be for a clear, positive, doable action. But here's the real test. The other person has to be totally free to say no. If they feel like they'll be punished or guilt-tripped for saying no, then it wasn't a request. It was just a demand wearing a polite mask, and that will never build connection. Okay, I know this can all sound a bit abstract. So let's look at a classic example from Rosenberg's book. This will show you how these 4 simple steps can completely change the game in a super common everyday conflict. So look at the shift in energy here. It's huge, right? The first one is all attack and demand. It practically guarantees the other person is going to get defensive. But the second one, the NVC version, it's honest, it's vulnerable, it's got a clear observation, a personal feeling, a universal need, and a specific doable request. It invites teamwork, not a fight. And this stuff isn't just for messy rooms and arguments about socks. The power of this framework is it's been proven on the world stage. It's literally been used as a tool for mediation and peace building in war-torn places like Rwanda, Serbia, and between Israelis and Palestinians. It helps people see the shared human being behind the label of enemy. But now we get to the final and maybe the most profound use of nonviolent communication. And it has nothing to do with how we talk to other people. It's about how we talk to ourselves. Just think for a second about your own inner critic. You know that voice in your head, the one that uses all those same toxic tools we talked about? Judgments, comparisons, demands, to try and motivate you with shame and guilt. What if we could actually change that conversation? We can use these exact same 4 steps on ourselves. We can translate that harsh self-criticism into compassionate understanding. So you observe the judgment, I'm so stupid. Then you identify the feeling behind it. Wow, I feel so frustrated. And then you find the beautiful unmet need that's causing that feeling, because I have a deep need to feel competent. This is how you shift from self-blame to real self-connection. And let's be clear, this is not about making excuses for ourselves. It's about changing our source of motivation. Instead of trying to force change by beating ourselves up, we learn to motivate ourselves from a place of genuine self-care and a desire to meet our needs better next time. We can finally stop being our own worst enemy and start being our most powerful ally. So after all of this, what's the one thing to remember? The single most important goal of NVC. It is not to change other people or to manipulate situations to get what you want. The number one purpose is to create a quality of connection that allows everyone's needs to be met, willingly and compassionately. Ultimately, this is the choice we have in every single interaction. When we focus on our strategies and our judgments about who's right and who's wrong, we build a wall. But when we shift our focus to the universal human needs that we all share, we build a bridge. We create the chance for real understanding and for solutions that actually work for everybody. And that is both the challenge and the incredible promise of nonviolent communication. Thanks for watching The Explainer.